Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I was just thinking about making Hijrah out of North America. Um, you can see all the purple is the territories that legalized homosexual marriages. I believe these are the places you should immediately try and get out of. We are starting to see the restriction of travel right now. And once they really start locking down humanity, that's to exterminate humanity, to keep everybody trapped where they are. The black countries here are the NATO countries. I also believe those are going to be major targets in nuclear war. Um, I find it weird, though, that Italy is one of the European countries that's an old ally of NATO, doesn't permit homosexual marriages yet. I think because in the Hadith that Jesus will break the cross, that's meaning Italy, the Vatican Church maybe or something like that. And I don't know what that means, but I've always kind of wondered about that. I I I don't believe uh, staying in North America is a good idea because I've just had such a hard time trying to find a place to buy land even far enough from, fitna. It's just you're just constantly surrounded by atheist non-believers, and I don't think it would be a wise idea. I mean, they're not even Christians. They don't even believe in any God or anything anymore, it seems like. Um, so I was thinking about making Hijrah, and I was like wondering where to go myself. And I've been thinking about it for a long time actually, but I kind of like, there's a lot of area you can go still. I mean, I think a lot of places are going to be okay in the Melhama. Um, I'll give you a quick story why I don't believe North America is a very good place to stay. A few years ago, when I was looking around for land, I bumped into a lady out in the bush, and we were talking about Armageddon. And she thinks, something is going on. She's a really kind of a non-believer, anyways, but she can sense like something's up, something's weird, something's going on. And I told her, yeah, I'm thinking I want to buy land or something. I want to get out of the cities and I want to like start a homestead. And she's like, yeah, me too. And she got her husband just recently died at that time, not too long ago, and she got a pretty big settlement for life insurance. And I kind of, convinced her she should buy some land. And she's like, I'm on my way to go look at some right now. And I was like, yeah, you should take a real consideration in that. So she ended up buying the land that she went and looked at, and there was like five houses on it, five small houses already built. It was a small piece of land on a small lake. And she sent me an email, and she's like, yeah, the property is great. There's a bunch of extra houses. And her two daughters and her brother were going to stay with her. And she offered me one of the houses. If I wanted to rent one of the houses, she would give me a pretty good deal on renting a house and like help out with like getting the homestead going and all that. So I thought about it, and I kind of thought, well, at that time I was broke. Like I didn't even have a penny to my name. Couldn't do anything. I was like literally stuck in the city. And I figured, well, maybe I'll go to the mosque, and maybe Allah, this is His way of, you know, guiding me into like starting something on a homestead. And I went to the mosque. I call it a mosque because there are no such thing as masjids in North America. So I went to the mosque, and I talked to the Arab clergy there, and I asked like, how do I qualify for a zakat? And he knows me, and he knows I'm Aboriginal, and he knows I converted to Islam, and I'm always like bringing non or native people to the mosque and teaching them Islam, and I'm always doing that. And he was like, "Yeah, sure. How much do you need?" And he gave me the paper to fill out, so I filled it out. It was like I think I filled it out exactly like 1,600. I was like planning a budget, like pay some rent and buy some supplies and figure it out from there. See what kind of money I can make. Maybe whatever homesteading you do to make money, right? And so he told me, called me up, said, "Yeah, I have a check for you. You can come and pick it up." Went down there to pick it up, and it was only $400. And I was like, "Well, like this was like way off of what I asked for." And I was like already getting irritated with Arabs and Muslims like for years now. It's just how backwards they are and how backwards they've become and how ignorant and like just something weird about them. Every time I try and talk to them about the Dajjal or the Yajuj or Majuj, they want to mislead me. And I'm learning Islam. I'm a new Muslim, and I keep telling them, there's something. The Jews are in Israel. There's something wrong with them. They're the Yajuj and Majuj. They're like I wasn't even at that point, but I was like they're like evil. There's something evil about these people. And I ended up learning that they are the Yajuj and Majuj. There's two camps. One is Christian, one is Jew. And they pretend to be religious, but they're atheists in nature. They even say they're atheists now. They even openly admit it. And he only gave me like $400, and I was just like, there was another more conversation to it, but I ended up ripping up that check. I was like, no, there's like this whole country is completely atheist, and this whole like trying to talk to the immigrants in the mosques, that's unbelievable. That was like 3 years ago, and I stopped like just communicating with the immigrants after that. I really got mad and angry with them, like final straw that broke the camel's back. And I've been thinking like real hard about where to go. And I've been thinking about leaving the country myself, and I've been thinking about like certain places. And obviously, it's Russia or a Christian nation, Orthodox Christian people. And just to give you an idea of like some places I was thinking about, was I was looking into Vietnam, even like a Buddhist place. I kind of like the Buddhist people, they're good people. And I looked at Vietnam, and I noticed something about that country. I noticed that they're, a self-sustaining country. It'll be pretty hard to break them, I think. Even in economic collapse, I think they'll do pretty good. They have their own oil. They're not one of the countries that are going to be fighting for the gold, mountain of gold under the river Euphrates. They have their own oil, and it's nationalized. It's for themselves. They don't export their oil. They keep it for themselves. And there's a lot of like, villages in Vietnam, and they look like really nice little villages too. I was thinking about, well, if I go there, you have to get married. That's one of the countries you have to get married. They changed the visas and everything like that like a year ago. You can't get a tourist visa for a year anymore. It's you have to leave the country every 30 days and come back in as a tourist again, unless you get married. If you get married, you get your permanent residence. And another country I was looking at was called Belarus. It's a Christian nation. There's a Muslim community in it as well. They're a Sofi Muslim community. They look pretty good. They look like a pretty good people. And they have their small little Sofi Muslim villages they have their masjids. I noticed that they don't have mosques. They have a mosque. They just built a new mosque in what's that city called? Minsk, I think. The There was a big celebration with the government, and They built the Muslims in the city a nice big mosque. Like places like that, even like places like Moldova, it's a Christian place, lots of villages. They struggle financially and they work really hard. And I noticed that the people there seem like really nice and friendly people. Like even though they're down and out, like they're living in poverty, they seem to always have a smile, and they practice their religion. They take really good care of their churches. And so I was just thinking about like a couple of places like that. Give me your thoughts in the comments of maybe like places you've thought of, because I even thought of Morocco. I like the looks of Morocco, and I like the villages in Morocco. I'm not sure if those people are Muslim in those villages or not, but they seemed really nice from some of the travel videos that people have done in Morocco. Looked like a nice place, nice countryside, anyways. But again, when you take off from North